I wanna say to my sisters and my brothers, keep the faith. When the storm flies and the wind blows, go on at a steady pace. When the battle is fought and the victory's won, we can all shout together, we have overcome. We'll talk to the Father and the Son when we make it to the promised land. When we walk together, little children, we don't ever have to worry. Through this world of trouble, we gotta love one another. Let us take a fellow man by the hand, try to help him to understand. We can all be together forever and ever when we make it to the promised land.
Well, today the ETH, which stands for Empowering the Homeless, we decided to gather and plan this event because our organization, it truly believes that every person has fundamental human rights. Cesar Chavez was a strong champion for these human rights. And today we've invited two guest speakers to elaborate with their experience with Cesar Chavez.
I wanted to give you basically some of my thoughts and share some of the experiences I had while working with Cesar and being part of the movement, the United Farm Workers movement in Kern County, which is where I met Cesar. I was 17 years old. I was in a high school in Bakersfield and I was doing a civics project. And so, of course, I heard about Cesar. I'd heard about the union starting at about 66. I was a sophomore. And I decided to do the project on the union. And one of the pictures here, I don't know if you've had a chance, but this is me in the springtime of 1968 when I was a senior at Garces Memorial High School. I went up, I took my, back then it was Super 8. We didn't have video, of course, as some of you know. But I packed up my Super 8 camera, and I went out to when Cesar broke his 25-day fast. That was the first major fast that Cesar did. And he broke it with Bobby Kennedy. There was at least 10,000 people filling the Delano Memorial Park. And so between 1968, when this photo was taken, to 1979, I had decided to go to law school, which I did. I went to Bolt Hall, and I returned as I had planned to work with Cesar as an attorney with the union. And had a lot of good experiences with him because he ultimately chose me to be general counsel and to run the legal department. So I was very fortunate. I got to travel with Cesar. I got to work with him, do extensive litigation, and actually recruit a legal department of volunteer attorneys, paralegals, clerical work. So that there was a lot of work, a lot of hard work, but it was part of a movement. And when you're part of a movement, for those of you, I understand some of you are involved with Occupy Escondido. I welcome you, and it's a great example of what was going on back then. You know, and now the wheels are turning, and hopefully the young people will see the need. He didn't like taking time off. Cesar was very difficult about that. Okay, so we had to convince him it was his birthday. He says, well, no, I don't want to celebrate, and I don't want us to celebrate my birthday. And so in that tradition, the leaflet, the flyer that we had, talks about Founders Day. He said, let's celebrate Founders Day. He wanted to share even his birthday with those people that had, suffered along with him and formed the union. And that's what it was known as, Founders Day. So, and that's why we're here. It goes on and on. Now, when I did go work full-time with the union as a volunteer, I like to say I worked not for Cesar, I worked with Cesar. And that's how most of us saw it.
brother who always told me what to do, usually good advice, got me involved. And I was just 18, 17, and then 18. And I'd served in the Navy because, you know, we send young kids off to war, have you noticed? I went off when I was 17. And so I was a veteran. And among the young people that came to join, young Cesar Chavez, who had moved from Arizona. And that's when I first met Cesar. He and I were not old enough to vote yet, but we were going out to register people to vote because it was a curious quirk in Los Angeles County law or regulations. You could not vote, but you could register people to vote. So we would go out to supermarkets and register people by knocking on doors. And that's how I met Cesar. And Cesar worked and learned community organizing under Fred Ross's inspiration and leadership. And then Fred accompanied Cesar, now that the CSO was functioning, operating well, to work in the San Joaquin Valley, or as they call it, the Valley. There's only one valley for them, if you're from there. And that was the beginning of Cesar Chavez's work, helping people that were farm workers, alongside of Fred Ross, who helped organize the United Farm Workers Organizing Committee. Okay. Cesar left East LA, and I lost track of him. We'd see him every now and then. But his family knew that Cesar and I had a personal relationship. So here we are carrying Cesar almost 2 miles along a country road to a memorial service. And we carried it on this long road because there were thousands of people on both sides of the road. They cut off the traffic.
Cesar looked at me and said, "Marco, someday we'll all rest." I knew then what he meant. And I'm referring to 1993 now. We're at his burial. Tears filled my eyes, and time stood still.
Cesar was the first person who said, the way to struggle is through affection, hard work, and non-violence.
This world is not our home. We're only passing through. Our chain is all made up, way beyond the blue. Let us do the very best that we can while we're traveling through this land. We can all be together, shaking our hand when we make it to the promised